Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? We are live. I'm just waiting for just a sound off. Alvaro, if you could say something just so chat can tell us if they can hear us all right.
Hey guys, can you hear me? How are you doing?
Yeah, everyone, people chat saying we are clear. So this is it, guys. We are live. We might make a habit of this, of starting the live stream on time. So first things first, for those who don't know me, I'm Tiago. I'm the studio's community manager, and I'm gonna be presenting to you the miniatures of this bundle, Buried Tomb, or October Fantasy Bundle, which is a weird thing to say because we now have two different subscriptions, right? For those who follow us, who have been following us for a while and that are used to watching these live streams, you may notice that Marcia is not here today. Unfortunately, Marcia has been having some health issues. She's been having some back pain problems, so she can't really paint for long stretches of time. She's going to the doctors, and we wish her all the best, right, Alvaro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are taking care of it.
Yeah. So send your love to her when you can. Like, just drop by her Instagram or send her a message. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. Those health issues are also the reason we don't have the painting guide ready yet for this month's magazine, but we will have it in a couple of weeks at most. It will be closer to the middle of the month. So we apologize for that, but unfortunately, Marcia's got to take care of her health. Yeah. So, with that out of the way, let's start. Let's get into the minis of this awesome Egyptian themed bundle. Alvaro is gonna be sculpting something for us today, and should we tell them what we are sculpting today, Alvaro?
Yeah, I'll do a very simple mini, but also very versatile, maybe. Following some tips that the subscribers gave us, I will sculpt a mage hand spell with a tiny base, right? So people can use in their gameplay. So it will be very simple, but also very fun to do.
Yes, it's very, very useful. So people have been asking us for spell effects for a while now. And we thought the live stream would be a good way to test that out and see how you guys like it. I might open up a poll or something or a form so you guys can give us suggestions for this live sculpts. But it's not gonna be anything official or anything. It's just inspiration so that Alvaro doesn't have to come up with something on the spot. And it's also good so that you guys can let us know what you want. I'm gonna set up a couple of rules and we'll see about that. We'll see how that will work. So, first up, we have our first hero here. We have Sanjay the Shadow, or Assassin for this bundle. And this one is near and dear to my heart. For those of you who have played, well, you know the games, right? You know the Prince of Persia games or Assassin's Creed, and you want to feel like the unstoppable assassin in D&D. This is gonna be the mini for you. And I actually wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna transition here now. I'm gonna show you guys the 32mm version first, and then I'm gonna show you the bust. Unfortunately, I don't have the 75mm version here with me right now because it's off to be painted. So this is the 32mm version of Sanjay the Shadow, and it's gonna be part of the painting guide. And look at that amazing detail. And I don't think the camera is gonna be able to get it, but you can actually see the eyes, very distinct eyes, which is kind of hard to do at the 32mm scale. If you haven't watched it yet, we have a video on how to paint eyes on our YouTube channel. And I think, yeah, painting eyes is good on a 32mm miniature. I think it's just Marcia flexing. I'm gonna change now to the bust version just so we can see more detail on this mini. Just a second. And so just a second while I change things out here. Yeah, here we go. There we go. So this is the bust for the Shadow or Assassin for this month's bundle. And you can see, like, he's ready to strike. And this is like your typical assassin rogue, right? You hide in the shadows and you deal as much damage as you can as a surprise. You gotta have dagger, right? As a rogue, it's always useful to have that so you can have a ranged option of attack. And I think this miniature, like, it has a lot of potential. Like, it has a lot of cool details here. If you really want to go up close and personal, you can. Let me change the head I'm using here so I don't block the miniature. So you can really see here the sword and the details on his vest. And Marcio went with a blue and gold team, black, blue, and gold actually. And I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna go with that just because it turned out so good. Yeah, people are saying in chat, dagger, 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 right? Yeah, so this is Sanjay, and ooh, who's gonna be playing a rogue in their next campaign with this mini?
And the good thing about this character is that as he's wearing this
Yeah, he's wearing the hood.
mask,
Yeah, the mask and the hood.
it can be a human, an elf, or most races, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to play him only as a human.
Yeah, you can use him as like most humanoid races. I think that's something we may explore a little bit more. Like a couple of like sometimes we do a mini that is a very very specific race, right? And actually, the next couple ones are gonna be just that. But we want to make a versatile mini so that a lot of people can use it. Maybe you're not looking for an elf assassin or maybe you're looking for a human assassin or half elf or I don't know. So you can use this mini. It's very very versatile this way. Oh, and before I forget to give credit where credit's due, Sanjay was sculpted by Gabriel Laech. Yeah, and Gabriel did an amazing job with this one. So next up we have our second hero for this bundle. We have Gold. Let me set things up here. So Gold's a catfolk dervish dancer. You can actually use her. I believe it's for 5th edition. There's a College of Swords bard. I think would be a perfect fit. A couple of different rogue classes would fit her perfectly well. And you guys have been asking for catfolk for quite a bit, and as soon as we released this concept art, people are like, yes, more cats, please. And I think it's a feeling a lot of people on the internet share. So let's see how the miniature turned out. And here we have our golden cat. And this miniature is very interesting. Like the one of the things that I always find very beautiful to see is how the sculptor translated the movements in the concept art into the miniature. And you can see here she has like her flowing clothes and even her tail here. And I think since the beginning, since the concept art, there's a very flowing movement to this miniature, right? I think this is gonna be a lot of fun for players, but it's gonna be absolutely it's gonna be the absolute best for painters. Painters are gonna have a blast painting this one. And these characters, the heroes from this bundle, are especially like they have a lot of cool details. They are carrying a lot of stuff, and there are a lot of different textures on the mini. So the painters are gonna have a blast working on this ones. And let me get her bust here, just to show you guys a little bit more detail. Just a second. Let's change things up a little bit. Actually, let's see here. Let's see if I can show you the comparison. Yeah, that's gonna be good. I think that's gonna be good. So here we have her bust as well. You can see a lot of detail. The necklace, the beads. Yeah, people are really excited about this one. Maybe we should do more cat people, Alvaro. People want.
Oh yeah.
People want cat people. Give them the cat
This
people.
bust, This bus is a great example of why we made the decision of changing the bus styles. Because imagine this amazing sculpture without her arms or tail. This was how we used it to do our buses, but I think that like this, you can see much better the character personality and also the details, right? So I'm pretty sure that people who likes the old bus more will get used to this new format and will fall in love with it.
Yeah, I think we would have lost a lot from this mini in particular if we did the old style, like the whole movement. Like there's a story being told with the mini and the details and the positioning of the arms, right? Position of the arms and the tail. There's there's movement and life to the mini that we probably would have lost with the
Yeah,
old style.
and also the tail on the front of the base for me, it's like it's it's a great bus design. It's not just a miniature cut in half.
Yeah. So let's move on to our next one, and this one I think it's another. A lot of people were really excited about this next one. We are really happy about that, and is another humanoid animal. Is an elephant folk. So we have Bayou Great Tusk, or Mammoth Folk Necromancer. And let me change things here a little bit. Bring out the 75 millimeter version. And here's the story with Bale. Of course, he's like this, and I can't take credit for this. And as some of you may know, this Bayou was the winner of our community hero contest. So we did a contest a couple of months ago, and we put out a survey, and we asked for hero suggestions and hero ideas. People gave them to us. We compiled like the best ones that we found, the most interesting ones. We put it up to a vote, and Bayou won, and it was a well-deserved victory. The Bayou's original creator, was Rob Whitney. Rob had I've chatted with him a bit, and we've had a blast. And it's actually his D&D character, and it was really great for us to be able to do this amazing idea. So, Biol is a Mammoth Folk Oak Necromancer, and let me just show you guys how the actual mini turned out. Yeah, people are saying in chat, and I'm sorry, Rob, but people are saying, yeah, the Mammoth Folk just became the big bad evil guy from my campaign, and I think it's okay. So the story of Bayou is that his sister died while doing some magic, and he actually like wears her part of her skeleton in his clothes and his staff, which is pretty metal for a D&D hero, right? But people are saying, yeah, I'm gonna use it as the evil guy because it's one of those minis that is versatile like that. You can use it as a hero, as a necromancer hero, or you can just turn him into the evil guy. And again, this one it shows like the movement, like his robes are flaring out as he moves forward to cast a spell. Yeah, people are saying, yeah, he can be used as a druid too. People are getting a lot of ideas about Bayou. Like there's some really intricate detail on his tusks. I don't know his tusks. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna show you on the bust version. Maybe you guys will see it a little better. And again, there's a lot of different things happening here. So there's a letter a leather robe. There's his spell book right here. There's bone and ivory and fur. So this is also gonna be conceptually is really good for players, but it's also, I'm assuming it's gonna be a blast for painters. So let me show you the bust version of Biol. Let me just change things up here a little bit. So I can show you the bust version. And Bayou, as a mammoth folk, he's a bit of a thick boy. He's on the larger size of medium class, right? Yeah, I think everything's set up right here.
I love this detail that Guilherme, the concept artist, put on him of the skull spine going through the
Going out the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Looks really cool.
And before I forget again, I'm being very bad about this. So the sculptor for this mini was Douglas Martins, and for Go, the one before, our catfolk hero was Rafael Sui, and all the concepts for this bundle were done by Guilherme Mota. And it's a cool detail of like how we can influence each other. So the community hero winner Rob, right? He sent us like some extra history of some extra background of the miniature, but then our concept artist Guilherme put the skull put the sister's actual skull on top of his face. And Rob was like, okay, yeah, that's part of my character now. And he actually introduced that into his game. Yeah, there's just a lot of cool details here with this mini. Like there's the spell focus here, right in the hand, which could be metal, could be crystal. So again, a lot of very, very interesting textures for this miniature. And how could I possibly forget? Like on the staff, there's the Bayou's familiar, a sugar glider. Maybe we should do more familiars like this, right? Some less well-known animals. Let us know what you guys think about that. I think it'd be cool to have some weird animals as familiars. So this is Biol. And as I said, let's see if the camera can focus here. Along his tusks here, we have runes that glow when he casts magic. It's on his backstory. You guys can watch I made a community post on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I think on the Discord server as well. So you can find the video of Rob telling the story of his character there. So thank you, Rob, for giving us the opportunity to work on this amazing character. And yeah, it was a blast. Maybe we'll do another community hero in the future. We did the last one as an experiment, and I think it turned out pretty well.
It must feel really cool to have people around the world printing, painting, and playing with a character that you created, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I think did I change before I meant to? I think I changed before I meant to. Yeah. So this is the bust. Was I not showing you guys the bust at all? Yeah, I think that was a fob on my part. So I'm gonna go around with the bust again. Sorry about that, guys. Still learning this streamer thing. Yeah, let me go around. So here's a sugar glider familiar. So it's really, really cool. Yeah, versing the community villain. Yeah, I think necromancers get a bad rap just because you keep bringing people back from the dead as corpses. It doesn't mean you're an evil person, right? You can be a good guy and have a couple of corpses following you around. Yeah. So the next guy the next miniature, and I kind of spoiled this one for you guys already. It's the boss from this bundle, and it's a bit of a classic D&D monster. It's the Mummy Lord. So let us set things up here real quick. So the Mummy Lord is like it's. I would say, okay. He's kind of up there. He's not as classic a monster as a lich, for instance, right? But he's also up there with some of the most dangerous monsters because of mummy rot and the things that can happen to your characters after you defeat him. So I think there's the concept art really captured like the amount of detail and the amount of how much obviously this bundle is based on Egyptian mythology, as are these characters for D&D, and I think the concept art really captured like how ostentatious the funeral rites were in Egypt, right, in ancient Egypt. And you had to go into the afterlife wearing your best dreads, right? And again, this translated really well into the miniature. I think it's another miniature. We're playing a little bit with the idea of the character maybe be floating or mid jump or something. The way his robes are attached to the base really gave us the freedom to do that. And there are a lot of again, like this bundle I think is gonna be an absolute blast for painters, because just in this miniature there's so much different stuff for you to paint, and a lot of people are gonna be using gold paint for this set, I think.
Yeah, not only this miniature, but most miniatures, they have golden details.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like the funeral rites in Egypt were a big event, as I'm sure you all know. And you do not want to face this guy in combat alone. You do not you want to take a cleric into combat when you're fighting one of these guys, not only because he's an undead, but also because you want to get rid of the disease they inflict. Like, it's 2021. We don't need more diseases in our lives. It's been a rough couple of years, right? So let me show you. So this one is the fourth bust as well for the Buried Tomb bundle. So let me change it to the bust. It's gonna be our last bust for today. And let us just adjust the camera here while we transition. Yeah, this is an angry fella. He's not happy that his tomb has been violated. They are really afraid to die, right? To die to their final and permanent death. They do not want to go into the afterlife. Maybe their hearts won't be as light as a feather, right? It's especially because of the next couple of minis I'm gonna show you guys. So let me turn this around a little bit so you guys can see the details a little bit better. I absolutely love the detail of the. I forget I don't know if it's a crane. I forget the name. There's a specific Egyptian bird that inspired this headdress, right? There's the half moon back piece here, and maybe this is part of what's keeping him alive. Maybe that's a legendary item your players need to get. But the Mummy Lord, which was sculpted by Wesley dos Santos, is not the only mummy or the only undead we have for this bundle. So next up we have the mummies. So we have three different mummies here. Let me get them here. I think they are actually just a second, guys. Yeah, let me get them here. I'm gonna get them all at once. I think it's better to show them like this because they're a bit of a set. They all have like the same stat block, but slightly different histories. And we have a warrior mummy, an attendant mummy, and an advisor mummy. And during a game, during history, right? So when you bury a pharaoh, you don't bury him alone. He needs servants. He needs to take everything he owns to the afterlife, right? Including his servants. He needs to be served in the afterlife. He's not common people. Yeah. And yes, sometimes people offer themselves to be buried with the pharaoh, kind of a guaranteed shot to the other side. But sometimes they are forcibly mummified, and this is one of the things that may have happened here with these mummies. So they are not happy about their state. They don't have much say in what they do. They follow all of the orders of the mummy lord. So when your party is facing the mummy lord in combat, they are not going to be facing him alone. He's gonna have his posse with him. And here are the miniatures. And I'm sure you guys can see like how awesome this miniatures turned out. The warrior mummy especially, I think it shows. Let me turn him around a little bit here. He has a bunch of weapons. Like, people have tried to stop him before, but he's undead. He can't die. They have run him through his spears, stuck on a couple of weapons on him, and he will not stop. Right? He's just relentless like that. It's the power of undeath, I guess. We have an advisor mummy that has just been woken up from his sleep. He's barely out of the bandages, and we have an attendant mummy here as well. And this is a little bit of a set, and this is us starting to experiment. Like, a lot of you guys ask us to do the same miniature in different poses or doing stuff like that. I think it's more interesting than doing the same miniature and giving it a couple different poses. I think something like this is more interesting, right? You can maybe use them as you can maybe use them as different characters. They are really, really different. Each miniature has their own identity. So yeah, we may do some more stuff like this in the future. It's gonna depend a little bit, right, Alvaro?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because it's easy for us to just change the pose of the characters. As a 3D artist, I can say this. It's not easy to change the pose of a character. However, it's easier than creating a character from scratch. But at Loot, we are trying to make every character unique. So in this case, we have three mummies, but they are very unique, as you said. So we will try to make these more often, of course.
Yeah, we're gonna try whenever possible, whenever we feel like that a miniature would lend itself to this kind of thing. We can't make any promises yet because, start doing a mini from scratch, right? It's an extra mini, so it's a lot of work. But I think it follows more of like the doing an actual different character. It's more in line with Loot's principles than just changing the positions. Yeah.
And also the bundle's theme, it's very important because in the bundle called A Light in the Shadow, for example, we have different devils. So it would be like weird to make some very unique characters in different poses. So usually we prefer to make completely different monsters, enemies, than just making the same race or same kind of monster in a different pose.
Yeah.
But for goblins, orcs, and those races that usually they have like an army or a big group, yeah, it makes totally sense to make some different characters of the same monster.
Yeah. So the all of this mummies, like all of the three of these mummies, were sculpted by Breno Salles. Uh, and yeah, he did an amazing job for three very unique and very interesting characters in and of themselves, and that connect with the mummy lord, right? So next up we have the Morc, and this one is a bit of a gross one. Let me find him here. Yeah, he's all the way back here. Got him. So the Morc, it's okay. Honestly, guys, the Morc is what you use when you want to gross out your player. The Morc already has a bit of a parasite in D&D lore, right? And our lore master Lucas Gribble, he managed to give it an even more disgusting lore undertones. So in D&D lore, the Morg is kind of this parasite that takes over and controls a corpse. For us, it's the result of a failed mummification process, right? Where the entrails are still alive, and because for the and I'm not wanna I don't want to be cliche about this, but in the ancient times, right? Ancient peoples, they believed like the different parts of the bodies actually had different organs influenced different feelings. I think for the Greeks for a long time, for instance, the center of thought was the stomach, not the brain. So yeah, I think we were playing a little bit of this idea, and the Morg is really disgusting. And I think the artist for this one, Pedro Yang, actually like the concept art is already quite gross, but the actual mini is even grosser. It's even more disgusting. And sometimes that's all you need, right, in a miniature. So I'm gonna turn this around here a little bit so you guys can see the details. And this creature is basically a skeleton being controlled. And then you can take your pick by either its own entrails or by a vermin. Neither one is good. It's really gross, and I love it. As a DM, I love this kind of stuff. I would throw it against my players, like, and it's kind of funny. Players will not fret at fighting a dragon, right? One of the most dangerous things that exists, one of the most dangerous things out there. You throw a sandworm at them, and they're like, "Yeah, we can fight this." You throw something really gross, really disgusting at them, and they're like, "Ew, I don't want to touch this," and then they start running away. So yeah, I love using this kind of stuff just to mess with my players. Uh, okay, so next up, let me transition here. Next up, this one is a big one, folks. The Gyno Sphinx, and a Sphinx. It's a You can use it in a lot of different ways. It is you shouldn't mess with a Sphinx. It will screw your day if it has the chance. It will mess you up. But you can also use it as a quest giver for your party. I believe Matt Mercer did this in campaign 1 of Critical Role, right? Because Sphinxes are guardians of knowledge. They have a lot, and they do not share it lightly. And yeah, this one in particular, and there are a bunch of different Sphinxes. I think the one in The one for the D&D 5th edition actually has like a lion head, but they can have different heads. They can have like the head of a goat or the head of a person. And we went with the head of a person option, and it turned out amazing. So this is a regal-looking Sphinx, and yeah, just look at that. And I would use this one as a quest giver, because honestly, I don't want to see my players murder it. She's just too beautiful. And this beautiful sculpture is brought to you actually by Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, people are commenting about the mage hand you're sculpting, Alvaro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, mage hand is a classic spell. People are if you have the opportunity to take it, you usually do, right? If you have the option, because it's just so versatile.
I'm having a hard time to make this flying floating illusion for it. Like it's not something physical, right? It's like a ghost hand or
Yeah,
with
it's a ghostly head.
yeah. So sculpting it is not so easy, but I'm getting there, trying to make a cool effect.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the Sphinx here, and like we've done a lot of wings, right? We've had a couple of angels. We've had Valkyries in Journey to Valhalla. We've had a lot of creatures with wings, and each one of them has something a little bit different in them, something a little bit unique. The Sphinx, as I said, Sphinxes are they consider themselves to be better than humanoids, right? They consider themselves to be royalty, and they decorate themselves accordingly. So I really, really want to see. I think we talked a little bit before about how this set's gonna have a lot of people are gonna use a lot of gold paint. Yeah, the Sphinx is gonna be one of the characters people are gonna use that gold paint on, and they're gonna use a lot of it. Yeah, I can't wait to see like the different interpretations you guys give to this one. Every time people do we do a winged miniature, I'm like, yeah, I want to see the different colors people choose to paint it.
Yeah, and I think this character you can make it with a lot of different colors. The skin, for example, it doesn't need to be a human skin. Like if you search for some Sphinx on Magic the Gathering, each one has a different color. They are very, very beautiful characters, and I'm sure the painters will have a lot of fun painting it.
Yeah, I think Magic the Gathering is a great place for inspiration if you're looking for painting skins ideas. There's just a lot of good art in those cards.
Oh yeah, it has a huge influence in my work, and I'm sure it's translated to Lutz miniatures as well.
Yeah. So next up we have just Sand Golem. Let me pick it up here. And the Sand Golem is one of those miniatures. He's a guardian, right? He's a construct, and he's one of those inherently magical things, right? Sometimes, especially in D&D Fifth Edition, and when you're playing the game, sometimes people forget about the how magical the worlds that they are in are, and they start thinking too much in terms of real life and real physics and stuff like that. The Sand Golem is kind of one of those monsters that you look at it and you say, okay, yeah, that's magical. That's magical with a capital M. It kind of brings back that those feelings of wonder, right? And also, Bayou. F you up in combat. They are not. You should not mess with golems if you are not ready to if you are not ready for a fight. And this is a big chunky boy. Let me get like a humanoid-sized figure here. Let me get gold here next to it. This is like this is a big chunky boy with a big hand, and he will smash you and devour you and suffocate you. And fighting one of these things is like fighting a sandstorm, and it was a really good idea from Guilherme to actually do like from Guilherme the concept artist to actually give the sand golem like some physicality with the headdress and the mask and the band around its belly, and so yeah, people are calling it Chunky Boy. So
Yeah, for this one, we try to make this contrast between it being huge and very strong, but also having this small human face with the mask. So it's kind of mysterious. You don't really know what it's feeling. It's not like a monster with a angry face. It has this calm face, but it's coming for you.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, you can't you're not gonna be able to reason with a golem even if the golem can understand you, unless of course you find its control rod. So yeah, if you so the golem can actually if you find the golem's control rod, you can actually use him as an ally. I would classify a sand golem as like an artifact level ally, right? It's gonna really throw off the game. But maybe you need an ally this powerful to be able to defeat an even bigger villain. Yeah, it has a little bit of that alien feel to him, right? And especially, I'm reminded for some reason, Rafael Sui sculpted the Sand Golem. And Rafael, I don't know if you're going for it, but I'm reminded for some reason of the aliens in Stargate, right? The original movie. Ra in that movie had a mask kind of like this. It's an Egyptian funeral mask, right? And it's the kind of stuff that you see in an actual sarcophagi. So yeah, it just brings a little bit of joy into my heart. This mini. Okay, so next up we're actually gonna have a pair of mini, but I'm gonna do them separately here. We have the Jackal. So let me get the Jackal in here. So the Jackal, people, I believe people know what. If you've been playing D&D for a while, you probably know what a Jackal were is, right? It's a jackal that can turn into a human. It's a bit of a lycanthrope, right? It's kind of similar to a werewolf, but not really. And with Egypt, with an Egyptian team bundle, was the perfect opportunity to try out a creature like this, the Jackal. You guys always ask us for more were creatures, right? Well, here you go. This one in particular, let me change it to, yeah. Okay, so there's another mini that turned out amazing. It like the physicality of it, the fact that it's running and it's ready to attack. And I believe the name of this weapon, like this Egyptian weapon, it's a khopesh, right? I think the khopeshes are really cool. I think most of them were like made of most of them that have survived actually were made of bronze, and they were kind of the inspiration for the Dothraki swords in Game of Thrones. So yeah, I
Oh
would,
yeah, now I remember the
yeah, the
Khal
curve.
Drogo died from from it, right?
Yeah,
He
he
got
died
hit
from
on the
an
shoulder.
yeah he
Shoulder.
died from an infection. Like you gotta wash your wounds, man. Like ancient time wars, like people are playing dirty. People are like are taking are opening up septic tanks and dipping their arrows into human refuse, let's call it, and just like your wounds are gonna get infected if you don't clean them up properly. Khal Drogo unfortunately died like a chump. So yeah, I would actually, despite the angry look on this miniature's face, if I was playing a character that contracted lycanthropy, I would maybe go for something like this. Uh, if my DM allows me, right, to play a character like that. And the base, you can see it here. And I'm gonna go back to concept art real quick. There's just a hint of it in the concept art, but then Wesley dos Santos, which was the artist that sculpted this, actually brought it into the miniature, right? So to give that idea of movement, just a puff of smoke, a puff of not smoke, a puff of dust, right, rising up from the ground as the character leaps forward to attack. Again, there's gonna be a lot of the Egyptians that you are. What we know of them and what we have from like the hieroglyphics and paintings that have survived, uh, they they were very colorful people. They liked to color everything, a lot of different colors. It was one of the ways they showed opulence, right, and that they showed how rich and powerful they were. So I can't wait to see the ways you guys choose to paint these miniatures, especially like the shield and the beetle here. Maybe some iridescent colors. I don't know. And another were Jackal that we have is the Were Jackal Priest. So the Were Jackal Priest is kind of the lord that we created. He's kind of a leader in a Were Jackal community, and they they serve Anubis, right? And yeah, they are the Anubis' spokesperson, and they are kind of the healers of the community. And if we go here to the actual mini, oh, that transitioned really nicely. Yeah. So in the actual mini, you can see here, you can I would actually, if you were not using this miniature as an enemy, I would use it as a cleric, right? He's a priest, and it would be a really interesting one to play. And again, there are a lot of different textures here. There's cloth, leather. There's the papyrus that the of the scroll the Were Jackal priest is holding. There's metal. There's skin and fur. So this is another like really cool miniature for painters.
Oh yeah, this scroll is really cool because you can do an amazing freehand painting, like do some writing on it. And
Yeah,
also this miniature is a great example of how at Loot we are always trying to balance between details and making a miniature not so fragile. So for this scroll and the staff, you can see they are touching the jackal body, so they don't break so easily. So we are trying to do very detailed minutes, but not so easy to break. And we are always trying to find new solutions for it without sacrificing the design of each miniature.
yes, absolutely. Like I think one of the things that sets Loot apart actually, right, is that is how detailed, how committed we are to detail and miniature quality, right?
Yeah.
So next up, let me just set this apart here. I haven't dropped a miniature today. I haven't broken anything.
Yeah.
Let's. Oh, don't jinx it, Alvaro. Don't jinx it. We're still not done yet. So next up we have the Howler, and you guys might know the Howler as if you guys, I believe he's in in fifth edition. In which book is he in? I think he's in like More Than Canaan's Stum of Foes, something like that. I don't think it's Volos. Yeah. So and he's a little bit different. His appearance, right? The one we went for is a little bit more bestial, a little bit less demonic. But still, it's a really fearsome sight for you to. You don't want to cross this in the desert, right? And let's see how the actual mini turned out. Yeah, and it's a big guy as well. Let me get a 75 mini here. Like this is a bit like a lion-sized, but a little bit taller, right? And I would say a little bit more bulky in frame, like a bit of a longer reach, and you do not want to be in front of it when it exhales. You do not want to be anywhere near it. I think the artist, and for this one was Rafael Salesi, did an amazing job with this miniature, just transmitting like the idea of the feral nature of the creature. And it looks a bit, you can use it as a couple of different things as well. The Howler has like this demonic origin to it, right, in the D&D lore. But you can use it as an infected creature, infected with some kind of virus. Like it would actually lend itself pretty well for a sci-fi campaign, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, this is a creature you do not want to be anywhere near when they exhale. And yeah, and I think we've had so for a couple of minis we have, and sometimes for bundles, we have like an inside name for them, like when we are referring to the miniatures to each other before, like they're sometimes they don't have a final name we haven't set on a final name for them yet. But even though this one is the Howler, I think inside loot he's like the team has been calling it the big dog with mumps. I think it's the name of the disease in English. Yeah, that's not a fun time to have mumps this bad. Thank God for vaccines that we got rid of this. Okay, so next up we have the Greek. And the Greek, and let me get it here. Ooh, where is it hiding? Where is it hiding? Just give me a second, guys. The Greek is kind of one of those classic D&D monsters, right? It's like you need a rust monster, you need a gelatinous cube, you need a werebear, and you need a Greek. Eventually, you're gonna use it. They're really good for random encounters. It's one of those things where you can almost kind of hide them anywhere, right? Yeah. Sorry, people. I keep looking at chat and I see something funny that like almost cracks me up, and I have to hold myself. Yeah. So the Greek is. Oh, and before I forget, I was being really bad about this again. The Jackal priest was sculpted by Gabriel Laet. I don't think I mentioned that before. And the Greek was sculpted by Breno Salles. And yeah, Breno's really putting in some work in this bundle, right? The Greek plus 3 mummies. Yeah, so let's transition to the actual miniature here. Yeah, here we go. just a classic D&D monster. You can always use more snakes, and we gave it a little bit. The lore we used is that the Greek is cursed Naja, right? So this Greek kind of has that coiled snake pose, right? Like it's ready to strike. And if you look at it from behind, it actually has you can actually see the kind of the Naja crown, right? The Naja decoration that they have, and the position of the tentacles as well reflects that, kind of flows from that. And yeah, it has a beak and it has claws, and you do not want to get bit by it, right? It's a general rule in D&D. You do not want to get bit by things, but I think for the Greek, it's you especially don't want to get bit by one of these.
Good thing about this one is that we try to stay close to the original design, because we feel we change it a lot, people wouldn't recognize it. However, no, we try to make the design a little different without losing the original look of it. So we changed the design a little to fit better the bundle theme, that it's Egyptian mythology or stuff like this. So it has the Naja design. However, it still the original brick.
Yes. And next up, and I cannot drop this one, so I'm gonna be very, very careful. Because next up, we have this skeletal snake.
Oh, this one is awesome.
Yeah, it's not broken. Woohoo! I can break it when I'm taking it off because we have already filmed it, right? So then it's not a problem anymore. Okay, so we have the skeletal snake, and a lot of people have been really excited for this one as well. I think just the concept of the just the idea of a skeletal snake and the concept art, I think, got people especially excited. And I think can you talk a little bit about like and actually I'm gonna transition first. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, let's transition first so everyone can see how awesome this mini turned out. But Alvaro, can you talk a little bit about the technical challenges of doing a miniature like this?
Oh yeah, so as you can see, it has a lot of details and very thin parts, like the snake spines or ribs. I'm not sure what they are.
Yeah, the ribs. Yeah.
Yeah. So a miniature like this, if we do not sculpt it with with a lot of care, well, a lot of let me see how I can explain this. So how I was saying about the priest, we are always thinking about the engineering behind the miniatures. So a miniature like this, it can't break so easily when you try to hold it. So we decided to make this pillar that it's like, how do you say, like going around it.
Yeah, the pillar just coiled around.
Yeah. So the actual snake is attached to this pillar. So like these, the spines, the ribs are touching the pillar, so they are not so fragile. So this was the solution that we found to make this miniature very detailed, like a skeleton, but being a very strong and resistant piece.
Yeah, and I think just the idea, and it's I've been watching a couple of videos. They just kind of popped up on my feed about skeletons, and a lot of people have made that joke of how ubiquitous skeletons are as enemies, right, in video games and RPGs and stuff like that. And like a skeleton is just a bunch of bones with no muscles, right, and no tendons to hold it together. So how does that work, right? Or a skeletal snake at least still has like some meat, right? Some skin holding it together. I think that that really makes a difference.
Oh yeah, this looks cool and also helps to make the small details, the thin details, stronger. So we find this the solution as well.
Yeah, I think people are gonna have a lot of fun with this one as well. Yeah, just for goodness sake, don't drop it. As I am sure I am going to do at some point. Let me find the next miniature here. Yeah, did I say? Oh, I didn't. So the skeletal snake was sculpted by Douglas Martins. Cannot forget that. So the next one we have is the scarab swarm. So, and let me get it from back here. And with this one, like it's a bit hard to do swarms justice, right? You can find a lot of different swarms out there on the internet and like miniatures of swarms to download, but they're usually like quite underwhelming. The last swarm we did, I believe it wasn't the last bundle actually, right? It was in Stinky Ancient Ruins.
Right.
It was the red swarm. And you can see a little bit of the same idea here, right? Like we are trying to give it some verticality. I think it really sets it apart as a proper mini. And you guys, like the way this sculpture turned out, it's amazing. Like it even makes me forget the nightmares I had after watching the 90s mummy movie where the scarabs were crawling around people's skin and coming out and devouring them from the inside, eating them alive. Yeah, that was fun for an adventure movie, right? So this is just kind of beautiful. And we have a couple of different scarabs and beetles here. I think you can imagine them as being like in different stages of their life. Maybe the big one on top here, like opening its wings, is the big, it's the older one, right? Yeah, people. Let's see here. Yeah, people are saying they would love to paint these. And scarabs are fun because they also come in a lot of different colors and a lot of different. I actually kind of really like scarabs and beetles, like the way they look. They have like that iridescent sheen to their shells. Yeah, they're just awesome. Yeah, people are saying the verbs kind of freak out all players. Yeah, like in a D&D game, anything that's a bunch of little things sometimes can be scarier than facing like the big bad evil guy, right? Because you stab it and they keep coming, and you stab it and they keep coming, and at some point you just gotta fireball that thing and hope like your colleagues and the rest of your party are not around the fireball. So the Scarab Swarm was sculpted by Rafael Salesi, and yeah, it turned out amazing. Yeah, let me just actually let me change the next one here. Here we go. And let me grab it. So, next up, we have the monstrous scorpion. Let me grab it here. It's on this side. So the monstrous scorpion, it's another like very useful mini. You can use it as a giant scorpion if you want to just polymorph into it, or if you just want to freak out your players and give them a little bit of a challenge at earlier levels. You can use a monstrous scorpion as an enemy. Animal miniatures are always useful, but it's no fun to just do a scorpion, right? So we did one that kind of honestly looks kind of demonic in some ways, or like this nature didn't come up with this thing, right? And here is the actual miniature, which was sculpted by Michel Rodriguez. And yeah, as always, like animal miniatures, always very useful, very versatile. And this one, you don't. It's one of the. Oh, Alvaro, people are commenting in chat. They are asking, "What is that hand holding?"
Oh, I'm doing a second version of it, holding a torch. So yeah, you can use it to. No, let me make this torch
Yeah,
more easy to recognize.
yeah. But, I think people were having fun there for a second. Let's hope they didn't take a screenshot of that.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it happened in the last live as well.
Yeah, it always happens. Phallic forms appear everywhere in culture, I think. Okay, so okay, yeah. So this is the monster scorpion. It's a very cool mini to throw at your players. Like small things when you make them big are always really scary, right? You do not want to fight a bunch of enlarged insects. So let me actually reach out for the next one. Okay, and we have a crocodile. So this is the next minute that we did for this month. So another classic enemy for a D&D adventure, right? Let me get everything here. It's another big one. And you can use them. And it's a crocodile, but crocodiles, alligators, what's the difference? Once they start biting at your players, no one's gonna care. So yeah, it's a very classic enemy. You can use them on a desert setting like the Egyptian theme we're going for with Buried Tomb, or you can use them in swamps as alligators. Yeah, and I know there are differences between crocodiles and alligators. You guys don't need to, I know. And yeah, it's a big thing with a really big mouth that's gonna chomp at your players until they are not there anymore. Big creatures like this, and again, just like the monster scorpion, it's a great miniature if you want to polymorph into it or beast shape into it. It's always an option. Okay, so I think we're approaching the end here. Yeah, this crocodile was sculpted by Leo Camini. Okay, and let's go to the last characters in this bundle. The cats. Everybody loves cats, the internet loves cats, and especially you guys have been requesting for cats. And cats are very useful, both if you just want to paint them or something. but also if you want to use them as familiars, right? Cats are one of the preferred familiars out there. So it's like there's like a couple of familiar options, but the most common ones people would choose are like cats and ravens and stuff like that, right? Owls, an owl maybe. And cats don't really have anything special going for them, like stats wise. They are just like really, really cute, and people really, really like them. And we have 3 cats for you this time around. And these 3 cats were sculpted by Rafael Salesi. So we have on the middle here the royal cat. On the left we have a regular cat. And on the right we have the mummified cat, or as we called him, Mr. Snuggles. He's the mummified cat from the of the Mummy Lord. So I don't know. Maybe if you defeat the Mummy Lord, and there's just like this. I don't know if "cute" is the right word to describe it, but there's there's this cat there, just kind of hanging around. And well, what are you gonna do now? Maybe make the mummified cat your familiar from now on. Yeah, and I think that's one of those minis, like, because we've been learning to anticipate the community requests a little bit more. So I think originally we were only going to do the mummified cat, right? But
Yes.
then Alvaro was like, yeah, but people are gonna ask for like a regular cat version as well. So we did a regular cat version, and then we did a royal cat version as well, which is like, and the royal cat version is kind of like I don't remember the name of that breed of cat that doesn't have any fur. That is kind of gross. Do you remember, Alvaro?
I have no idea. I call it like hairless cat.
Yeah, it's a hairless cat. It's this. Oh, it's the Sphinx cat, which is kind of on theme, right? The Sphinx cat.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, we didn't even think about this. We just. I think we just had like this relation in our heads. Like, oh yeah, if we want to do an Egyptian cat, that's the breed we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I prepare for the next one here, let me just grab this mini and bring it here and change some stuff around. Okay, so this one people were really excited about as well. And it's the merchant. The merchant and his camel. And some of our NPCs, for some reason, people are really, really excited about them and really anticipate them. It's been the case a few times, and I think it's I think this one is a little bit of a throwback as well to Brom and Buffo, right? Our 3-month loyalty reward. Let me set things up here. Yeah. And I think people like when we put out the concept art, people were like, "Oh yeah, more merchants, it's more good." And here's how they turned out. And again, it's a merchant, it's an NPC, it's an amazing mini to have. Like, it's always useful. It's a traveling merchant, so they go everywhere. The mini has both minis have a bunch of different stuff, so it's gonna be really good for painters. There's a lot of different textures and stuff, and if you look right here, let me get out of the way. Actually, these are actually like canoptic jars, the jars where the organs of the dead of a mummy were put after they were removed, right? So there's a jar for the heart, a jar for the brains, stuff like that. So yeah, maybe he's. I'm not saying this NPC is a tomb robber or anything, right? But maybe he bought them from a bunch of adventurers. And let me turn the camel around here a little bit as well. I have never personally met a camel, but from what I hear, they're kind of a-holes, you guys. They kind of bite and spit. And I think I've watched a couple of like behind the scenes things from movies, and like the camels did not behave. Yeah, people are saying, watch out, they spit. Yeah, but either way, it's a those are amazing minis to have, and they were sculpted by Michel Rodriguez. And this NPC is the last actual character we have for the Buried Tomb bundle. But we're not done yet. We still have the objects to go through. And I'm just gonna ask you guys for a quick second while I set up as many objects as I can here. And they have varying sizes, so we're gonna try to set up the camera the best way we can. Yeah, this month we have like a bunch of really interesting setting objects here. I'm gonna try to set them up here. And as always, we have a chest. We have a couple of just really useful set pieces, right? For the if you want to go with that Egyptian theme. But again, if you're not into specifically Egypt, a lot of the creatures in this set can be used in a bunch of different situations, a bunch of different scenarios. Yeah, let me set up this here in an interesting way. And yeah, the lore of this bundle that we created was specifically so that that would allow people to use these miniatures in a bunch of different. The lore we've been using, we've been trying to allow people to use all of our bundles in a campaign, or trying to give you guys ideas of how to use these different themes in your campaign. Let's see here. Yeah. It's just a lot of stuff, guys. Just a quick second as I set this up. And I try not to break anything. So here's a quick thing I want to mention about the Egyptian civilization as a whole before I get into before I show the models. One thing you gotta remember, like the ancient Egypt was really a long time ago, right? And the Egyptian Egypt as a kingdom spent thousands and thousands of years. So by the time like Cleopatra came around, like the pyramids had been built like 3,000 years before her. Like it's one of those things, right, that no one really thinks about. Cleopatra was born closer to the invention of like the computer than to the construction of the pyramids. So by that time, when the Romans got to Egypt, like it had already been raided, and the pyramids had already been looted, and there were a lot of ruins. And here's what we came up with. So we have a pyramid here, and we have the torches, and as always, our classic chest. We had the tablet right here with the hieroglyphics, and we had a tablet like this for the eagle-eyed among you in our last bundle as an Easter egg. We had the obelisk. We had the statues. We have both the statue of the sitting pharaoh and a sphinx here on the other side. We have a couple of different columns and the ruined gate, the well, and we have a couple of different vases here and palm trees, like everything you need to set up an Egyptian themed campaign. Or even if you don't want to set that up, if you just want to do a one shot or you just want to use these minis, you can use these objects to set up a fallen and lost civilization, right? It's one of the things that happens a lot in D&D worlds, right? You get to a certain point, you get to a certain level of skill and magic as a civilization, and then the gods come and they strike you down and there's only ruins left. But they can be pretty ruins. And especially, I want to show you guys here, let me move this. Ooh, I just dropped a bunch of stuff. And that's fine. So, let's see here. Yeah, we have an actual sarcophagus that you can actually remove the lid, and there's an actual mummy inside. How cool is that? So yeah, maybe you, and like, don't look up, honestly, don't look up what people in the beginning of the 20th century and like late 19th century were doing with mummies. It's really, really kind of gross. But there's a reason. There's a paint color called mummy brown, and there's a reason for that. So, I guess this is it for the miniatures. Oh, and the objects were sculpted by Wende Ferreira. Yeah, so this is everything, guys. We're gonna go to a round of questions and answers in just a little bit. Yeah. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about. Let me transition back here and go to the magazine. So again, we have the magazine this month. Please check it out. It has, besides the character stat blocks, it has the encounter guide, and it has a little bit of lore. We had an excerpt of an interview with a community member, Maria Zurneden. I hope I'm not butchering your last name, Maria. I did an interview with her. It was really, really cool. You guys are probably going to see a video of this in the community quite soon, but we have an excerpt here, and she's an amazing artist as well. She's an amazing painter, and you should check out her Instagram account. There's some really cool stuff there, and she painted a lot of our minis in a way that we really liked because they turned out real good. Yeah, so check out the magazine. It has an encounter guide, the stat blocks. We have the stat blocks separate as well, and we have the printer-friendly stat blocks for those who don't want to spend use a lot of ink to print this. And yeah, this time around, some of you guys may notice we don't have an encounter map, and there's a reason for this. We have decided to move away from doing the encounter maps. They were taking one of the reasons, like they were taking a lot of time. It took a lot of time to create them, like as any content that we do, right? And they weren't quite on the same level as the rest of our product. So we want to move away from them or do something different, do something better for you in the future. But for now, we're not going to have the encounter maps anymore or the backgrounds anymore. And really, it's just because we want to do something better for you guys in the future. So we're just kind of cutting the umbilical cord now and moving in that direction. We don't have, as I said, the painting guide in this version of the magazine yet. For those who weren't with us at the beginning of the live stream, Marcia unfortunately is feeling a little bit sick, so she can't sit down for long stretches of time to paint. But she has already started to paint them, and we have already started to do the painting guide, and it's going to be available sometime later this month. I guess for the magazine, that's just it, right, Alvaro? Am I forgetting something?
I think it's all.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Just as a I think was in the beginning of September, we released our 3 month or second 3 month loyalty reward, right? Ungor and Slig. Let me just set them up here. And we have the statue version coming out next week, and we're gonna have a post explaining everything about it, what a couple of things we changed and how we do the statue scale. But don't worry, everything is gonna be explained next week. And if you haven't seen them yet, let me set them up here. These are Ungor and Slig. They are our 3 month loyalty rewards, so they are currently available in 32 and 75mm scale. This one's the 75, and they are also going to be available in statue scale. Yeah, and for those who don't know how the loyalty reward system works, for those who may be joining us for the first time, I think it's always good to give just a little bit of a refresher. Every 3 consecutive months of loot that you own, right? You get a loyalty reward. So you get a reward for 3 months, another for 6, 9, and 12, right? But after that, we started a new cycle because we didn't want people to wait 15 months before they got a particular reward, right? And at some point, it was going to get ridiculous. So we decided to do it like this. If you have 3 months in the new cycle, and the new cycle started in June, I believe, so it's June, July, August, and now September. If you have 3 consecutive months, you're gonna get the new reward and the old 3 month loyalty reward. Everything is explained like in our FAQ, in our frequently asked questions in our website. Is also in a couple of posts in the. It's also in a couple of posts in the in Discord and Facebook. And if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to us in one of those platforms, and we will let you know, or someone else will let you know. Let me just. Yeah, someone is handing me a miniature here that, oh God. Okay, so let me just try to put this down.
The best way is to show them even you.
Yeah, we just want to show to you guys, like, give you guys a sneak peek of what's coming with statue scale for Ungor and Slig. And I think that's gonna be like the last announcement before we go to questions and answers. Just a second as we set things up here. Okay, so these are Ungor and Slig, and right now you guys are seeing a little bit more of Slig than of Ungor. But this is a massive statue. This is a massive, massive, imposing statue. It's gonna be a little bit of trouble to paint this. Actually, let me put my hand beside it just so you guys can see like how big it actually is. Can you go up a little bit? Look at this. Look at how big this thing is. Yeah.
And Tiago's hand, it's not small.
Yeah, I'm a big guy. Yeah, let us put some standard dice beside it. So look, he can almost shoot a d12. We should make this cannon. It's gonna be a d12 worth of damage, and this is just like an amazing statue. So yeah, this is what's coming. We're gonna upload it next week. So yeah.
Eleni is asking what's Slick holding. So Slick is holding a cannonball to recharge
Showing the weapon.
the weapon that the orc is using. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on screen again. Let's separate them. Like the base actually comes in two parts here. Okay, so this is Ungor. Look at how big this thing is. Look at my face next to it. Look at it. Oh, Jesus Christ, I hope I don't drop this. People would never forgive me if I drop this. And let me grab Slig now. Let me change things up a little bit. And even though Slig is technically like a small creature, look at how big he is, right? Yeah, and he's probably not happy that he has to walk around carrying out the ammunition for this big dumb orc. But you know, it's a job. It's gotta do. The economy is hard right now. Yeah. Let's put them together again here.
Those statues will come with two different types of bases. You can print this big base that fit both of them. It's like a diorama. But also if you want to print like they are in the miniature scale, you will be able to as well. So there are round bases for each one of them.
Yeah.
And also it's cool to talk about it because this statue is the first one that we decided to change the 3D printer scale or the reference that we are using, because all other miniatures from Loot Studios, we use the Sonic Mini as a reference of build plate volume. So it's a standard printer. So most 3D printers like Anycubic Photon, Anycubic Mono, Elegoo Mars, they will fit all of Loot's miniature. But because of the very small printing volume of those small printers, we're getting a lot of limitations when creating big statues like this one. So we decided that for the statues like this, we are using a new standard of printer size. We are now using the Elegoo Saturn as our build plate volume reference. So most bigger printers like the Elegoo Saturn, the Mono X from Anycubic, the Frozen Mighty 4K, they are getting very accessible at the moment. They are becoming cheaper and cheaper. And if you have any of those printers, you will be able to print big statues from Loot like this one.
Yeah. We're gonna have a post later, like next week, closer to the release of the statue version of Ungor, and in that post we're going to detail like the thinking process behind the change and why we did it, and we're gonna give a little bit more detail. But I think some things you guys need to know is that for our regular miniatures, like the 32 and the 75 millimeters. 32 and 75 millimeter scales, we are not changing what we use as a reference for print volume. It's gonna keep being the same. It's just for the statue scale, right? Because at some point, I think at some point it gets to be a bit too cumbersome to have to slice an amazing statue like this, like Ungorian Slig, into like 50 different pieces, so they can fit into in a smaller printer, right? And it's gonna be like a lot more work for people that could have printed it in a bigger printer and gotten a better result and a better finish on it. So yeah, so that's it for updates, I guess. And yeah, let's get to some questions and answers before we run out of time. I think Alvaro, did you discuss a couple different options of Mage Hand there?
Yeah, I did two of them. One more regular, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
just
about to
yeah,
catch something, and one with the torch.
yeah, absolutely.
See, guys, it's a torch. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will place supports on those hands, print them as a test, and we can make them available for download at our welcome pack maybe. So we'll
Oh,
let you know once it's uploaded.
okay. Just let's start answering some questions here. And the first question I'm gonna answer, just because it relates to the statues, is from Muhammad. And Albert Muhammad is asking about the dual base for the 75 millimeters as well. That's something I think he had asked for before, right? The statue base where both Angor and Slig can fit. If we can have a version for the 75 millimeter as well, right?
Yeah,
A
sure.
reduced version.
As soon as we upload the statue version, we will also release the 75 millimeters base for them. Don't worry.
Yeah. Let's see. Sales drivers. Yeah, people are asking how many parts are there going to be. How many parts are Angor and Slig going to be, Alvaro? Do you remember?
As we are using bigger printers now, Slig is one piece only, so you can print him with like a 12 hours maybe print. And Unger, I think both boots are separate, the legs, the torso, the head, the hand, the cannon, and the axe. I think it's like 7 pieces and 3 pieces for the base. So in total, we are talking about 11 or 12 pieces. But if you have 2 printers or even bigger printer, it won't take too long to print them because, for example, you can fit Ungor's head on a mono axe, the 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 axe, the cannon. So some smaller pieces you can use regular printers and leave the bigger printer to print only the bigger parts like the torso, the base.
Yeah. So going to the next question here, are we going to have to run another competition to make more of community heroes? So this is like a big question mark yet, but I'm gonna convince Alvaro to do it. Don't you worry. But here's the thing: we plan our bundles like months and months in advance, and it's kind of hard to. So I think we ran the community hero competition. I don't remember. Was it July? And then we announced the winner in August, so we could have it ready for the October bundle. So we already have all of our bundles planned out until the end of the year. So if we run a competition, it's gonna take really long before we can do another hero like this. And still, it's a big question mark if we're going to do it again. But if we were to do it, we would probably run the competition by like the end of the year, maybe December, Christmas, something like that, so we can have some time to add it into our production, like and into our planning. right? Okay, Frans van Niekerk. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Franz. He is asking if the hieroglyphs on the objects mean or say anything, or if they are just there to look good. And I think they actually mean something, right?
Yeah, someone on the community found the original image that we used, so you can find on the group the meaning of this this writing.
Yeah. Okay, people are asking where would the mage hand appear as a download? Usually, when we do stuff like this into the live stream, and it's something that is like we think it's good enough to be made available for download, they end up in the welcome pack. In this case, it would be the welcome pack 2.0. So if you are, as long as you're a subscriber, as when we upload them, they're gonna be there. Welcome back 2.0. Let's see here. Any more questions? I'm gonna go back a little bit, see if there's anything else. We are getting close to 2 hours of live stream here, but we started a little bit. I think we started like a couple of minutes late. Okay, there's it's not a question, but someone's the rodent of anger is saying, well, that is like a 1/8 or 1/6 scale. So for all of the statues from now on, from Lutimus forward, so Lutimus was our 12-month loyalty reward, and Ungor and Slig are like the 15th month loyalty reward. From all of the statues from now on are going to be 1/6 scale, and that's one of the reasons. And we wanted to make it so the statues would actually feel like a set, right? To have a standard scale for them, so that you can put them all together and they would look like a set.
Oh yeah, and also the Meets 21, the biker sci-fi girl from the sci-fi subscription, is also 1/6 scale.
Yeah, but meats can actually we actually cut her so she could fit in smaller printers, right?
Yeah, we did her the statue version before we decided to make this transition.
Let's see here. Ooh, just a second. I'm going back to and looking for more questions. Send your question, guys. Like, this is the time. If you guys want to ask something from Alvaro, this is the time to do it. Oh, there's some interesting ideas. Okay. There's some interesting ideas and suggestions here for the for us as Loot. So Muhammad is suggesting that for the magazine we do when we do the painting guide, we also put up a list of the colors used, if not the brands. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we thought about it, but sometimes it's hard because Marcel uses a lot of different brands, some of them even Brazilian brands. So we thought that it's better maybe to leave the painter to choose the colors based on the how they look. Like Marcel will paint a mummy, so you can see the color she used and choose a similar color from your paints. Because if we decide to put the names of each paint she's using, it will be a big list, and most people won't have access to it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Oh, now that you've sculpted a spell, do you think you may do some? And this is Preston P. now that you've sculpted the spell, do you think you may do some more of the more common ones? Okay, I don't know which game you're playing where Mage Hand is not one of the common spells, but okay, I think we may do some more spell effects in the future. Maybe in a live stream like this, maybe as an update to the welcome pack. But here's the thing: you can already find spell effects out there, right? And sometimes you just need something to measure the radius of a spell effect or something. And I think if a spell effect is like an interesting thing to do, like a mage hand is an interesting thing to do, right? It has a physical form. It's not just like a circle of fire texture or something. It would depend on the spell itself, and if he can come up with a good idea of how to do a sculpt on it, I think. Again, I'm gonna put up a list of suggestions so you guys can give your suggestions, and put up a couple of rules. Let's see. Can we please get Mushroom Man? People are asking for Mushroom People, Alvaro.
Oh yeah, they look really cool. We can do one in the future, like a fungus bundle or something like this.
Yeah, I think the Alvaro was asking me what are the kind of stuff that what are the kind of characters, like weird characters that D&D players like, and yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Okay, let's see. New races, please. Okay, people are asking for the are just kind of making requests now for more mimics. Let's see. Request new races, please. Yeah, for new races and different races, and people are just kind of throwing things out there now. I'm gonna take a hard look at those later and see what we can come up with. Let's see. Consider this. Any sci-fi news? No. People are asking any sci-fi news. No sci-fi news that we haven't already announced. If you've been to, or if you are a member of any of our communities, either on Discord or Facebook, you may have seen the concept art and the spoilers for the next bundle. Those are already out. Yeah. Oh, someone's asking, do you guys at Loot have a favorite miniature in this bundle? I think I can say mine. If I had to pick a single mini, I think I would pick the community hero Biol. I think it's just amazing, and I'm more of a DM than a player, so I really absolutely love the Necromancer hero. But other than that, I would have to say the Mummy Lord. Again, I like to throw a bunch of undead at my players. It's always fun. Do you have a favorite mini, Alvaro?
Oh, it's really hard to choose just one, but I'm a big fan of the Mummy Lord as well. I think the design is really cool. The floating effect is amazing. It has a lot of small details on the hat and the necklace. So the sculpture is amazing, and I think it's a great miniature to make like a pro painting job. So it's one of my favorites. I don't have like a favorite one, but this one it's really good.
It's hard to pick, right? Because there are so many. Like, of course, there's like the more simple minis, and even those are great. And those would be like the beasts and like maybe the cat or something like that. but every single mini has something going for it, right? So it's really hard to choose.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to a couple of last questions here before we wrap it up. Someone's asking, saying, yeah. So it's Muhammad again saying about the website interface. Now that we added a second subscription, people have been saying like it's maybe a little bit hard to follow, and he's asking if we're planning to update it. We are planning to update the platform. I have mentioned this before in a couple of live streams, in a couple of I have mentioned it in the community. We are not ready to make any reveals yet, but we are doing some platform upgrades that will allow us to do more stuff. They will free us up a little bit to do some quality of life improvements for you guys. So yeah, stay tuned for that. More news of that soon. Yes, I'm just waiting. Yeah, I'll spread that sugar on our glass. Yeah, people are asking, can you add more free miniatures? More free miniatures? We already did a lot of free miniatures, man. But sure. I mean, eventually, I'm sure we're gonna do some more of those. And let's see. Oh, people are asking, and this is the rodent of anger again. Can you put a space or a hole for a magnet in the bases? I'm not sure why exactly. And people have asked us of us to do magnet holes, especially for like last bundles, the sewer tiles. The thing with doing holes for magnets is like, okay, like which magnets do we consider when doing the holes? Like, because there's a bunch of different options out there, and how do we make sure like everything is gonna work together? So it's a little bit more complicated than just adding the holes. But we have learned from we are always learning from our previous launches, and we are always watching for your feedback. So that's always interesting, and maybe next time we'll have something more defined like that for magnet holes. Collapse for okay, so let's get to like just a couple more questions. Okay, so first one of those is, what's your favorite monster to throw at people as a DM? That's a hard question. I'm the kind of guy that like I usually homebrew a bunch of stuff. Maybe I'll take a miniature and create a new story and a new background and a bunch of new abilities for it. And usually I go like way overboard. But a Rakshasa is always fun, just because it throws off people. It throws off the players because they usually can't use their usual spells on it, right? The Rakshasa is immune to most of them. But I like to use stuff like that. That's gonna throw off the game, right? Either an enemy that can fly, or that's gonna hit them from afar when the players don't have any way to get there, or a Rakshasa that screws up the magic users. And one more question. Let's see here. Let's see. Do you have an animation? Would you ever consider doing very high CR enemies, 20 plus? I think that's a possibility if we haven't. Let's see, because most CR 20 plus monsters are actually named monsters, right? Named creatures, so it's kind of hard to do them. We might run into legal trouble over that, but we may do some if we do some original stuff, and yeah, then you get to see some original loot content at a very very high level. And of course, there's some classical stuff like the Tarask or really ancient dragons and stuff like that. And like who knows? Like we did an adult dragon at the beginning of the years, right? A January bundle, and we'll probably do something like that again. But who knows? Yeah, I guess we've been going for like almost 2 hours now. I guess we could wrap it up around here. I'm just watching chat, seeing if there's anything else interesting. So yeah, we should probably start our thank yous now. So thank you all for watching and for sticking with us for this 2 hours. Let us know what you thought of this format and of the mini in the comments of the video that's coming out after. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Alvaro, are you there?
Oh yeah. I was
you're
waiting for you. So thank you a lot, guys, for being here with us. Your support is very important. It really motivates us to keep going. We are very excited about this new bundle, the Buried Tomb. I'm sure we will do amazing paint jobs on the minis. And if you paint them or print them, please don't forget to share them with us on our social media, our Facebook group, our Discord group. And that's it, guys. Thanks a lot, and see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So see you guys, and be sure to send your best wishes to Marcia so she can get better soon. So bye-bye.